Marry me. I wanted to talk about Yule today since it is fast approaching, and I think there are I think there are a lot of misconceptions for people who don't know what Yule is, um, what it originates, where it originates from. I'm just going to take off these glasses because the light distracts me. Okay, so I have my notes here. And I just want to go through it. I want to just put like a disclaimer out there that I'm not trying to offend anyone, um, because sometimes people who watch my videos may be Catholic or Christian, and Yule it predates Christianity and Catholicism. So I just want to put out there where Yule originates from. So let me start off by saying that it is a pagan holiday. Yule takes place. What Yule is, it takes place on the winter solstice, and which is coming up Thursday, the 21st. That's in the northern hemisphere. Now in the southern hemisphere, it's kind of backwards. The winter solstice in the southern hemisphere happens in June, and that's their winter down there because we are opposite. The Earth's axis tilts away from the Sun, and the Sun reaches its greatest distance from the equatorial plane on this day, and this is also the shortest day of the year. Many cultures have festivals that are in fact celebrations of light. The winter solstice has been celebrated for millennia. Traditional customs such as the Yule log, the decorated tree, which is right behind me, my Yule tree, and wassailing can be traced back to Norse traditions. Romans would have week-long parties because, the Romans really knew how to party. And they were held in honor of the god Saturn and involved gift giving and a lot of feasting. Although there was gift giving, it was more importantly to honor an agricultural god. 4,000 years ago, the ancient Egyptians took the time to celebrate the daily rebirth of Ra. He is the god of the sun. And in some traditions of Wicca and paganism, the Yule celebration comes from the Celtic legend of the battle between the young Oak King and the Holly King. The Oak King, representing the light of the new year, tries each year to take the place of the old Holly King, who is the symbol of the darkness. Now, I want to go over a few things I mentioned before just so you know what they are. I know that some of you may already know what these are, and I apologize, because I know that you don't need to learn what these things are if you already know, but if there are beginners, I want them to know what these things are. The Yule log. The Yule log is a remnant of the bonfires that pagans would set at the time of the winter solstice. The bonfires symbolize the rebirth of the sun. Oak was the tree that they used to harvest for the Yule log traditionally. However, you can use any wood for your own, and each wood releases its own kind of magic. Before I go forward with the different kinds of woods that you can use, me personally, I'm not speaking for everyone, but me personally, if you go and you want to harvest your own wood for your Yule log and you want to design your own, that is perfectly fine. But I would, talk to the tree first and, almost like get its permission, get its consent for you to harvest that wood. It is a living creature of this earth, and it deserves to be treated that way. When you do harvest your wood for the Yule log, be sure to thank that tree for its sacrifice that it has given you, losing a part of itself so you can celebrate the winter solstice. Okay, now the different kinds of woods. Ash. The ash tree. It brings protection, prosperity, and health. The aspen tree invokes understanding of the grand design. The birch tree signifies new beginnings. The holly tree inspires visions and reveals past lives. The oak tree brings healing, strength, and wisdom. The pine tree signifies prosperity and growth. And the willow tree invokes the goddess to achieve desires. Number 2 is the decorated tree, which I said before I have behind me. This is also called a Yule tree. During the Roman festival of Saturnalia, celebrants often decorated their homes with clippings of shrubs and hung them shrubs and hung metal ornaments outside on trees. Typically, the ornaments represented a god, either Saturn, who is the sun god, or the family's patron deity. The ancient Egyptians didn't have evergreens, but they did have palm trees, and the palm tree was a symbol of resurrection and rebirth. They often brought the fronds into their home during the time of winter solstice. Early Germanic tribes decorated trees with fruit and candles in honor of Odin for the solstice. The decorated tree is not a Christian or Catholic tradition in origin. Now, I'm not saying that they cannot use the tree because I don't want to offend anyone. I'm just saying that the tree is not initially a Christian or Catholic tradition. It is originally, in origin, a pagan tradition. So the modern day Christmas tree is very much a pagan tradition, and this is where the Christmas tree originated from. They took the idea of the Yule tree and they decided to make it their own, for their own celebratory festival of Christmas. In fact, now this is where I want to just point out again, I'm not trying to offend anyone. In fact, in the Bible, Christmas trees or decorated trees were frowned upon because it was a pagan tradition and it was considered heathen in nature. Now I'm speaking directly from the Bible. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven. For the heathen are dismayed at them. For the customs of the people are vain. For one cutteth a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of workmen, with the axe. They deck it with silver and with gold. They fasten it with nails and with hammers, that it move not. And that is from Jeremiah 10:2. So I just wanted to, it's like a disclaimer. I really don't want to offend anybody, but I want to get this out there that, I've had people argue with me, before that, Christmas trees are, a Christmas tradition, and it very much is. But when I tried to explain to them that it was not initially or originally a, Christian or Catholic tradition, that it was a pagan tradition, and trying to tell people that, that when you celebrate, when you have your tree in your living room, you have a little bit of paganism in your living room with you. It can be a very touchy subject, so I'll just say that. And last but not least, we have wasso. This was a word that originally meant to greet or to salute someone. Groups would go out wassailing on cold evenings, and they would sing outside people's doors, and when they approached the door, they would be offered a mug of warm cider or ale. This is much like caroling, however, wassailing far predates Christianity. So again, this is a tradition that originated in paganism, and it was adopted into Christianity. So I just wanted to do that for Yule, since it is approaching. And as always, if anybody has any questions or anything like that, please feel free. I will be doing another video tomorrow because I wanted to get into Santa Claus versus Odin. Odin is a god, and Santa Claus is very much based off of Odin. Odin is essentially the original Santa Claus. So I wanted to go into a little bit about Odin, what he represented, what he did, and how closely Santa Claus resembles Odin and what he did in his traditions and things like that. So I don't want to make this video super, super long, so I will stop here, and tomorrow I will post another video. So I will talk to you all later. Bye!